Must be a
I
month.
put, I put a couple of mine up.
Conversation with you
I'm gonna set
about
this
it, and I want to have further discussion about it. Talk, you know.
It has nothing to do with their general fund budget.
30 grand?
Alrighty. Ready? I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you take the roll call, please?
Here, Trustee Burt. Present. Trustee Pavlov.
Present.
Treasurer Anderson.
Present.
Supervisor Miller.
Here.
Clerk Triplett here. Trustee Clee.
Present, yes, ma'am.
And Trustee Campbell. Present. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additions or deletions to this evening's agenda? Well, there was a request made to pull C for further questions because it's still not clear for some people. And in just asking everyone here, there was no objection to holding off for one more meeting. So tonight, Madam Clerk, we're going to postpone action item C until our next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So my phone's on mute.
Mine's not.
We'll move on to number 5. Are there any corrections from the minutes of our last meeting from April 4th? Any corrections?
See any?
Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the April 4th meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those minutes are approved. We move on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you come to the podium and give us your name, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. Anybody? I'll ask one more time. Anyone who wants to speak during public comment, now's the time. Okay, we move on. We go to reports. I don't have a report, except I'm going to reiterate what I reiterated last week. There's a lot of road projects occurring in the township, whether they're funded by federal dollars or state dollars or anything going on at the county level. And then we pay for projects through block grant funds that we get, which is federal road millage funds. You can find an update on our website for our road projects, and there's a link on our website that will take you to the Road Commission website for more information. There is federal projects going on, like at Bristol Road. It's west of 69. It's at the Swartz Creek Bridge. That's going to delay your transportation, your travel. And there's going to be more, so you can find those on our website because it's going to cause you a delay. So check that out. Also, our yard waste pickup began the first Thursday in April. It ends, the last day of yard waste pickup is Friday, the last Friday in November. They don't pick up on Thanksgiving Day, so just to remind you of that. If you have any questions, you can call the township office, and Rose can answer those questions about garbage, yard waste, and recycling pickup. And I mentioned to everybody that when you mow your yards, any of the grass clippings that go in the street, you're responsible to pick up. And I'm just going to implore everybody, if you have a catch basin drain in front of your house, please clean it, because the Drain Commission doesn't get to your road too frequently. I know they're busy, but if you want the water to flow away from your house and your foundation and your driveway, clear out your catch basin. And if you need help, you can call us for help. I don't know who's going to do it, but yeah, we don't have a DPW, but it's in our best interest. It's in everybody's best interest. Oh, should they call you, Barb? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Anyhow, it's in your best interest to clean your catch basin in front of your house. That's my report this evening. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
For the school election is May 3rd. The office will be open on that Saturday, April the 30th, from 8 to 4. So you're able to access the clerk's office at that time for the May 3rd school election. And other than that, no.
More specifically, the Saturday before the
Saturday before the election of
can
May 3rd.
people come in here and vote?
Yes.
Aha. And that's your report, Madam Clerk?
That is my report.
Madam Treasurer, do you have a report this evening?
I've included the copy of the Treasurer's Investment Report as of March 31st, 2022, so you should have a copy of that. We do show bank balances in the amount of $21,751,980.56. CDs in the amount of $2,423,442.53. for a grand total of $24,175,423.09. So I would ask that this report be included with the minutes for review by our auditors.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Number 8, payment of bills.
We have,
Whoops.
did anybody have any questions on that?
Trustees and staff and everybody else?
Oh, well, you wanted to do that? I'm sorry.
I just meant, I was going to comment on
You
Madam
didn't speak
Treasurer.
up because we got a lot of reports to do.
You went right through it right
Madam
away. I
Treasurer's
was like,
report.
guess
That's
we
why
I
didn't
haven't given him a
apologize.
chance yet.
Are there any trustee reports this evening?
I'll start with the ladies. I'll go last, as always.
And none on this end? No? Barb, no? Over this way?
I just want to say, Lisa, thank you. The paperwork that you put that together takes a while. Thanks. Appreciate that. And then if I may as well reiterate, you were talking to Madam Clerk about the election. We had the superintendent and assistant superintendents here last time, and wearing my hat as a trustee for you in the township, it's appreciated, but also wearing my hat as an instructor at Carmen Ainsworth, it's also imperative that we in the district do get out and vote for that millage renewal. It's appreciated and will help the district tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you. No report? No. We'll move on to staff reports. Chief Beckley, do you have a report this evening?
I do, thank you. Since the last board meeting, we have responded to 49 incidents. Of those 49 incidents, 3 of them were vehicle fires, 8 personal injury accidents, and 3 structure fires. One notable fire we had on April 8, 2022 in the 4,000 block of Risk Drive at Genesee Village Apartments. We got called there for a structure fire. While we were still responding to that incident, we were updated that there were several people potentially trapped inside the building and on balconies. One tenant jumped off of their second floor balcony prior to us arriving. Another tenant was rescued from their balcony by firefighters. And a third victim was removed from the apartment that was actually on fire by fire personnel. That gentleman was transported to Hurley Medical Center, where he later did die from his injuries. The cause of this fire is still under investigation, and we were assisted on this incident by Swartz Creek, Mount Morris, Mundy Township, and Grand Blanc Township, along with our police department that was a tremendous help there on the scene. While also on that scene, your fire department, along with our mutual aid partners, responded to 3 other incidents, including a possible structure fire at Linden Lane Apartments. So that was a very busy, evening for us. Luckily, that incident did not turn out to be anything. On April 14th, we also responded to an entrapment accident at the corner of Bristol and Vance Lake. During that incident, a vehicle hit a telephone pole that broke off at ground level, and Bristol and Vance Lake was closed by your fire and police departments by almost 6 hours until consumers was able to get there and get that barricaded off. So busy day there also. And
No
then,
injuries there?
One person was injured in that accident. Yep. Training this week will be on high-rise fire operations, which we will be actually doing hands-on drills in one of our high-rise apartment buildings. So that'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then also as a reminder, as the weather gets nice, when people start burning, make sure you call the fire department prior to burning to obtain a burn permit, 810-732-4413. And our permits are issued on a day-by-day basis, based off of weather conditions and other issues. So just make sure to call prior to burning.
And that's just a verbal, right? There's no form.
That's correct. Just a verbal on the phone. You do not have a burn permit until you talk to one of us. So if for some reason we're out on a call on a night, a weekend, something like that, please wait until you get a response back from us. Leave a voicemail. We will return your call.
And you said on one of those fires they were started by smoking and.
That's what the preliminary investigation looks like, but we are still following up on that. But it appears to be another smoking-related incident, is what it's looking like.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are there any consequences to the resident for burning without a burn permit?
Potentially, yes. It is technically by ordinance a municipal civil infraction. So if we do have an issue with it, an ongoing issue, there are potential problems there, but we try not to go that route if we can help it. We try to educate and all of that stuff, and our burn permit rules are located on our website as well, so that that stipulates all the rules and regulations when it comes to open burning in the township.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Salter?
Yes, ma'am. Since your last board meeting, your police department's responded to over 1,200 calls. That is about an average of 90 calls per day. Including the last 2 weeks, we made 185 traffic stops, 96 business checks, and 57 residence checks. Also, I sent out a press release earlier today. Yesterday, there's a fatal accident on Dye and Maple Crest. We were assisted by the Michigan State Police and the fire department. And right now, alcohol and speed do not appear to be a factor in the crash. And since we have a big item purchase on our agenda tonight, I invited Mr. Ryan Phillips from GTAC and Mr. Kirk Newman from Midwest Public Safety to give a brief presentation of the product we are looking to get approval for. If I may turn it over to Mr. Ryan.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for having me. My name is Ryan Phillips. I work for GTAC Video. GTAC is a core manufacturer of in-car camera, body camera, evidence collection systems. GTAC is a split between GE Aerospace and MyTac, so that's where you get the GE and the TAC side of the business name. We're a $30 billion organization. We've been doing laptops for 30 years. We acquired a video company in 2013. That company has been around since 2005. Today we're here to discuss the vast improvement from the quality of the system that is currently being used by the law enforcement today, which is an in-car camera system that has the ability to record out of the front-facing camera as well as the back seat camera. Today we're adding body cameras to that mix. So I want to show a couple things. First is just for the ease of operation of the device. So for an officer in the vehicle, the camera can be started a couple of different ways. One, if they initiate by lights, that's going to turn on their in-car camera system, turn on their body camera automatically. They can also do it the reverse side by activating their body camera. It will talk to them, let them know that it's going to record. It will also turn on their in-car camera system. It will signify on the front of the camera, you'll see a red light on the monitor here. You'll also see a red light on that front-facing camera. That signifies both to the person in the vehicle as well as the person outside the vehicle that they are currently being recorded. The body camera will also signify a red light. This red light lets the person that they're talking to understand that they're also being recorded. However, there are times that the law enforcement officer is going to need to go into covert mode just to be able to protect themselves from giving away their position if they're trying to sweep an area or look for someone. They don't want to be signified or have a red dot on their chest.
Covert off.
This device will also talk to the officer. It's an officer safety feature. That way my eyes are always forward. My eyes are of attention. I'm not looking at this device to understand what I'm doing. This device also has the ability to do a bookmark for the officer. It saves them time later on when writing the reports. If I'm doing a field sobriety test,
Mark.
I can hit the bookmark. That's going to signify in the timeline that I have an event that I need to go back to and write additional narrative. Maybe this was field sobriety test number 1. Maybe this is where we placed the person under arrest. Maybe this is where I arrived on scene. It just gives them the ability to narrate the video later if it has to go to court or if anyone within the department needs to go back and review that video. Chief Salter does not have 2 hours in his day to go back and review a 2-hour-long video. He wants to hit the high points, and the officers have the ability to do that. When they're done with the recording, they're going to come back to their car. They'll press and hold the stop button. That's going to turn off all the cameras, including the body camera.
Categorize. Arrest.
It'll allow them to categorize on this screen. So I can select the category. And it will also categorize all of the in-car cameras as well as the body camera. So from an officer perspective, today they're pretty much doing that in the same fashion, right? They turn on the camera system via the lights, but they're not using a body camera. GTAC has invented a way that automates this for the officer so that they are able to have an in-car camera and a body camera solution together, but I'm not adding any additional stress or requirements onto the officer to have to be able to activate this camera. So once again, I can actually never touch this device and still be able to record my interactions throughout the day. When the officer goes back to their vehicle, they have the ability to watch the body camera within their car, watch their in-car camera within the car. That way they can write the report. It allows them to stay out in the street more and less time at the office following up on reports. We've also enhanced the clarity of the video, which I'll show you in just a second, as well as the ease of use. So now we've moved to a touchscreen display, high color resolution. We've also mounted this in an aspect that because the cars are shrinking, we put this on the A-pillar, which is that first metal bar that goes between the windshield and the side window. That way when they're in their vehicle and they're looking at the screen, it's not obstructing any glass. That way it's out of the way, as well as we've shrunken the cameras. So cameras have come down significantly in size. The police department will be going with our latest generation camera. It does dual lens, so we're going to do a 180-degree field of view out of the front-facing window, as well as a 70-degree angle out of the bottom. The advantages of this gives the officer a ditch-to-ditch perspective, so if someone bails from the passenger side, that's caught on video, where traditional camera systems today, you would miss that interaction. The bottom camera is a narrower focus, which gives me that vantage point of the license plate. So if that person were to take off or I miss grabbing that plate initially, that's going to zero in and focus on the license plate. Any questions on the hardware before I move to video?
It seems like that camera would just fall off if
I was
you
just
run.
gonna say.
So there are different mounting options for the sake of what I'm wearing today, which is obviously a polo shirt or a dress shirt. I just used a regular clip. For law enforcement, there's molly clips that attach to a vest. There's pocket mount clips that actually go into the pocket that secure it to the pocket. There's a magnetic mount that's pretty durable and it can affix to multiple different layers of clothing. Admin, you'll typically see wear this style just because it's lighter, doesn't put as much strain on the clothing as some of the more heavier weighted options for the thicker police uniforms.
Is that heavy?
What's that?
Is that camera heavy?
No.
Cell phone.
Oh, no, I'm surprised.
Like a cell phone.
Yeah.
So it's designed to be rugged, take the elements, it's waterproof, it's drop tested. So if the device falls off the officer and breaks, GTAC actually warranties anything that can happen to that device. We do advanced exchange on all of our products, so if they call support and the device breaks today, they'll get it by Wednesday morning, 10:30 a.m. And that's on all of our equipment. So if a camera breaks, a screen breaks, a DVR goes down, a body camera breaks, the only thing the warranty does not cover is if I lose the camera. At that point, the police department would have to replenish that, and at the low cost of, I think they're $4.99 a device. Obviously, that's something to consider for the future.
Any other questions on the hardware? Anybody? No? Okay.
So video quality, obviously that's the primary function of adding new technology, is to improve upon what you have. So nighttime video is one of the hardest to record in low light settings. So this system also gives the officer a map in which they can go back and review. They'll see where things happened, whether they were at an intersection where someone went through that, or if someone tossed a gun or something out the window, they can go back to that point location. Pull that up a little bit. So obviously the ability to see in low light settings is very important, because a lot of the activity that happens within police departments is at night. Being able to pull video at night is good. Obviously trying to stream video from a laptop to a screen doesn't show the greatest, but you get the idea there. The other I wanted to show is why we add body cameras. So body cameras really tell the full story. When you're in pursuit, the in-car camera can only grab so much. So this was recorded at a law enforcement agency in Louisiana. We've been given permission to show it. Basically, someone had stolen a car. The officer is in pursuit. Body cameras alone, you'll see, only show the dash or the steering wheel as they're in pursuit of this individual. Having both the systems combined, you have the ability to see both out the front window as well as when they take off after the person. So this person was wanted for vehicle theft, armed robbery. At this point, if you had just in-car camera, this is where the traffic offense stops. I see nothing after this fact. The fact that I have a body camera, I'm now able to see what happened from this point forward and the chase that ensued afterwards. As he's running, he's trying to catch up to the suspect and the dog. There is a gun. Gonna shout some commands. I'm gonna leave this in a muted state for the point of the presentation, but you see that this tells the rest of the story. If they had in-car camera only, you would have missed everything that ran up to this. If there was an instance where this particular person was unarmed or decided to fire shots, we would not have seen that aspect of it. So this is here to protect the officer. It's also here to protect the community and provide transparency.
Hey, Ryan, on that video too, that's blurry a little bit right now, but we just watched that video earlier at the PD and it was fine. It's, they're going back and forth with it, or wireless, so that's why it's a little blurry sometimes.
Yeah, if you see this, it streams normally. It's trying to stream video from here to there. It does not want to play it correctly. So
Grainy.
I'll stick around if you guys want to actually see this live on my laptop rather than streamed over that. I'll be happy to show it too. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know if any other police departments turned off cameras when they shouldn't have?
Could they? Yes. That's really a training aspect that the police department would have to address from that standpoint. Can the officer turn the device off? Yes, they can.
I have complete confidence in our department.
Yep.
I just, there's a lot of things that happen that shouldn't happen.
That's something within our policy itself. You got discipline, you're supposed to keep it on certain points of when you're working. If you do turn it off, then of course it's addressed throughout the,
Okay.
so yeah, that's something that's addressed already.
We've also had comments from our officers that when they heard that we were having this presentation tonight, they're thankful. They feel this is long overdue. They're ready for body cams because it helps protect them and shows what they're doing out there on a daily basis. And you've seen it in the media. You know what's going on. But our officers in the system that we have now, we purchased it in 2013. And we do carry a little device on our shirt, but that only picks up the audio. The video that you're seeing here, we don't have that capability, and that's why we're hoping that you approve that tonight, is because it helps protect us as well as the community we serve.
There is advanced logging within the system, so if someone does turn it off, they'll be able to see when that was turned off, and if it was turned off by depressing the button or if it was a manufacturer defect in the hardware. So there is logging for that.
Well, maybe on a follow-up, if I clicked mine or on accident, it got turned off, would the dash cam stay active?
Yes.
They're independent of each other. Okay,
Correct.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, the body camera will only be turned off if I go to the car and turn the car system off, but I cannot turn the car system off from the body camera. And that's an officer's safety, because if I get into a tussle with someone and it accidentally gets depressed and turned off, I still want to have some footage rolling. Great question.
I have a question. You know how the technology that you have on your cell phones to find my phone? Does it say find my camera? Can you do that?
So when you get into that, the short answer is yes, you can. The device does have the ability to put cellular on it, but you are paying a data plan for each individual body camera at that
Right.
point. But there is mapping that I can go back and pinpoint the location within 3 meters to find that camera, or even use it for officer safety. If I've got an officer that's not responding, I can see them on a map.
Any other questions?
How many departments in Michigan use your services?
12 in the state of Michigan. Nationally, probably in excess of 500, ranging in sizes from one department or one person department all the way up to Nassau County, New York, that has 2,300 officers.
Thank you.
You also see too in that last video, the suspect's face was blurred out for redaction purposes, which is a big issue for police departments nowadays for the FOIA requests that we get all the time. It makes it easier for the FOIA officer to go through and redact a face, blur out a face, or a plate, it'll follow that person around wherever he goes in the camera. We were going through something recently where you had to play a frame back a little bit, you move a little bit, he or she would move a little bit, we had to stop it again, move the blurred face again. It's a long process, but as you can see up there, it's blurred out right there.
This isn't my place to say, let's throw this in there, but I like the idea of being able to track it. Being able to find if we lost it. Does it have to be applied to every camera? Obviously, I mean.
My comment on that would be is if you're only merely trying to do that for, if I lost it, I want to go back and find it. I don't think the ends justify the means because
Okay.
the amount of money you're going to spend on a monthly and annual basis is not
Cheaper
going
buy
to
a
ever.
Camera.
Go buy another one at $500.
You're going to spend less money just buying a new device.
Okay. Fair, thank you.
Not a problem.
Any other questions?
Is there more presentation, or are you done?
I'm done.
Because Chief, you shared something with us that was very interesting at our meeting regarding the camera. You may see one angle here, but then something else here that you wouldn't.
Right, I think I briefly
Talk
talked
about
about that,
that,
because the
or-
cameras don't show everything. From the police, I will say that too, I'm sure they're gonna say the same thing. I could be looking at one spot, or my camera would be looking forward, and I could be looking to the left and see something to the left. I think the video you're talking about, I forget where the shooting was happening at, you had two police cars pull up and somebody jumps out. Car video on the left-hand side, you see that pulls the gun and shoots the suspect as he's running away. It looks like the suspect didn't have a gun in his hand, but car number two, which is a different angle of it, actually showed the suspect with a gun in his hand. So videos won't show everything. I want to make sure that's coming across right now too. They show a lot of the stuff, but they don't show everything that happens, that the officer sees himself.
The main point of having the body camera is to continue telling the story, right? It's not going to capture everything. The guys and gals stand bladed when they reach a car, so my body's facing this way, but the camera's facing this way. A lot of it's when their interaction this way. If I ever pull my taser or pull my weapon, obviously you're going to see the events that led up to that point, but you may not see everything as I pull and draw my hand center mass. So the body camera is going to capture a majority of what you're looking for. It's not the end all be all. It's not like what you see on TV where we've got all these different camera angles that are going to show every aspect of everything that happens from start to finish. But the goal is to provide greater transparency and protection for the community and the officers.
So you said that the camera that goes in the car has like a wide view, so you said it can see ditch to ditch?
Yep.
So that body camera sees more in front of you, right? Does the majority of the time, I guess the question would be where's the activity, but are there things that car camera would capture that the body camera isn't because it's a wide angle?
100%. And you look at it a lot of times, and we've seen this time and time again, where the officers will pull over somebody, not realizing that there may be somebody very dangerous in the passenger seat or in the back seat of the car, and they go to approach the driver's side, and someone peels out of the back seat and comes around with a loaded weapon. That body camera's not going to capture that, but that front-facing camera will capture all of it.
Do we have any other questions?
And that data stays forever?
It's based upon department policy, how long they save it for. So like a citizen interaction, a warning for speeding, they may only save that for, 90 days. Versus a felony, they may save for 10 or 25 years. The department has the ability to designate how long they want to save certain videos for.
So do we currently have a time frame of how long we are keeping footage?
Yes, we do. We got a policy that we just written out a few months ago for body-worn cameras. We also have a policy for in-car cameras that we currently have. There's certain timeframes, like Ryan said, a felony is so many years, a homicide, of course, is forever, it seems like. A civil infraction might be for a few weeks. If we want to save a video, of course, we save the video. There's ways the officer can push to make sure they recognize we want to save the video, if I remember right, for that part of it. And also, I know Lieutenant Ballins this time, I'll let you brief that one part we just talked about.
The body cam may be the standalone video that we get if we have officers that are assigned to the school district, and they're not always working in a car. They're walking around the school. That video that picks up is the only video that there is going to be. Same with when we're working an assignment at the mall or just any other event that there is. The body cam video may be all that we get. So
Because they've left their car and they're out of range, is that what you're saying?
Or they're just, that's not their assignment, is to be in a car. You're not, if you're walking around the mall for an 8-hour shift, you don't have your car with you. So the video is critical.
Yeah, and one other advantage to having a body camera is the audio is captured on this device. Today, the wireless microphones in the car are transmitters. Once you reach a certain range, you lose that audio source. So sometimes they may go into a domestic situation or the hospital or further away from the vehicle, they're going to lose all of that audio. So there is nothing to really capture. This is going to capture both the audio and the video and store it locally on this device. That way they ensure that they always have audio of the incident.
I was going to ask that when you said that they might not be with a car, so that's a good, thanks.
You just brought, when you said that, you said store locally on that device. So do each of the devices have their own card? And then it also, I read the information about the cloud, et cetera. So each device has its own card.
Yep.
We can drop the card at the station when we have to, and then save all of that video that is there, independent of anything else, as well as to the cloud, so we'd have a two-source?
So these are onboard storage. We don't want to deal with any type of moving of cards around, right? Because we've got to
Okay.
follow chain of custody, CDS
Right.
protocols, right? So the storage is embedded on this device. The officer really doesn't have to do anything with it. They'll come back to the station at the end of their shift. They're going to dock it. That video is then going to transfer to the cloud.
Okay,
Same with the in-car cameras. Once those videos are done being recorded and they end their shift and they come back to the police department, those are going to upload to the cloud location.
So there's no way to alter that whatsoever?
And does the chief, you have access to the in-car cameras at your desk, right, on your PC?
I can, yes, and also, we talked about this before. If I do have that option, the officer knows that we're there too. There's a red light that will come on. That says, somebody else from off-site is watching your camera right now, like a live version of it, or a free live version of it.
But you also have policy, like if someone's vehicle's going down Linden Road and they hit 80 miles an hour,
Right.
it starts recording
Oh,
and
yes.
you'll review that the next morning or something. It has those
Yes,
capabilities.
yes, this will have the same specifications you can put on it. If you go 80 miles an hour, it's gonna kick on the camera automatically. Lighting, once you hit your lights, a trigger will kick on lights. Certain things will kick the lights on, kick your camera on.
Yeah, the goal is to automate it as much as possible, so someone doesn't have to consciously think about turning the camera on. I turn my lights on, I hit a certain speed, I get hit, so a crash sensor can turn that on, as well as a manual operation. I want to manually start a recording. You can do that as well.
nice.
Will each officer have their own, or are they gonna
Yes, each
share
officer,
between?
I'll even have one too.
So everybody will have their own?
So, and as I was gonna ask that, as they come in, Tom Clee's gonna dock his, and it's gonna sit there for my 8 hours that I'm off duty, and then when I walk back in, whoop, pick mine up off my docked station, which is all downloaded, already up to the cloud. You guys can even look at it prior to, or if I had an issue, I can say, hey, LT, I've got an issue on mine, could you, review this situation? So it's all made available instantaneous.
Correct.
Very nice. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
So we'll finish here quickly with reports. I know we have a report from John Whiteside from the Road Advisory Committee. We met this last week.
Gotta go backwards in my file now.
Good evening, Township Board.
Evening, John.
We met last Monday, and I'll just give you a briefing of what we discussed at our meeting. We had 2 residents show up, lived on Charter Oak Drive. They were complaining about a section of Charter Oak, which is a cement road. It's over off of Judd Road. And sections of the road are dropping down, and they wanted to know if we could do something with that. Well, Supervisor Miller and the committee all explained to him that the 2022 road plans are already set, but we will look at that for future roads. And Supervisor Miller also said she would reach out to the Genesee County Road Commission and see if there's anything they could do, to help us with that. Mike Pfeiffer also spoke about the current projects for the year. You're all aware of what was voted on. One thing he mentioned was the projected costs that we had, the actual estimates may come in higher. He won't know till they come in. We're hoping it all fits within our budget. And the next item I wanted to mention is actually a board agenda under new business G. And the road advisories need a new member ever since Frank Castle had resigned his position. So we had a discussion, and William Bud Newsom had informed Karen Supervisor Miller that he would be interested in that position. Well, the bylaws for the Road Advisory Committee under Article 3, Section 3.1, deals with the number of members. And it's stated right there, the committee shall have 9 members, 1 being the supervisor. We currently have 8, so we do have a need for another additional member. So we, as a committee, voted on accepting the nomination, and we passed that unanimously. I was at a recent election training, or it was we had 2 election trainings, but the first one I was at, Trustee Vert was there, and a gentleman on Trotwood Lane brought to our attention concern he had with his road. So I went out and took some pictures of it, and I brought it back to our meeting on this a week ago Monday, and we discussed that. Obviously, that would be a future project. Well, Supervisor Miller also had received a phone call from another resident on Trotwood Lane. I've got the addresses here if you want them for any reason, but Trotwood Lane goes up, makes a curve, goes down, and makes another curve, goes back, and then it's Pickwick. That area probably needs some attention. It's been a few years since we did anything out in that area. And we're going to be discussing our 2023 road plan and future road plans. And we'll most likely see if we can include those in those road plans. But we have other areas of the township that we've pushed off after year that has been brought to us. There's only so much money and only so much we can do. But that's basically my report from our last meeting. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. So back to payment of bills, Madam Treasurer?
I'd like to make a motion that we pay bills in the amount of $114,555.26, and to acknowledge tax disbursements that went out in the amount of $538,049.61, for a total of $652,604.87.
And that's your motion? Yes. And we need a second to the motion?
We would support that motion.
Any questions for Madam Treasurer? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to pay the bills in the amount of $114,555.26. Please.
Trustee Fabdo?
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
Supervisor
Yes.
Miller? Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Klee?
Yes.
And Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
Thank you.
We move on to correspondence and informational items.
It's okay.
Trustee Bart, I'm
It's all
sorry.
right.
We missed them both. We missed them both.
Yes.
And I already had marked you. I'm sorry.
She had you down.
I knew you weren't going to.
So,
Thank you.
Madam
You could hear the tears.
Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence or informational items?
No.
So we move on to action item A, and I see in our packet, the language for the millage is not here, but we're going to let Chief Salter talk about it. Action item A.
Oh, okay. I got it here if you guys want to see it.
It's a renewal. It's
It's a
got to be the
renewal.
same.
Again, as you said,
Should be right
in
here.
2013, the township passed a 10-year millage for public safety. First, I'm asking the board for a renewal to approve it to put on a ballot in August for that 10-year millage. The millage is for 3.85 mills, which raises about $3.3 to $3.4 million out of that millage.
On 15.
Sorry.
Assigned to that millage, we got 20 police officers and 7 firefighters actually assigned to that millage. Again, this is important for public safety. I think myself and Chief Beckley will say the same thing. Everyone's in agreement on our side. This has been an important part of our public safety for the last 10 years. I mean, it's helped us dramatically get in the numbers we need for it. So I'm asking the board to approve to put this on the agenda, not on the agenda.
Well, you know what? It's on a
the
different
ballot.
sheet.
Thank you, yes.
It's on page 15. It's on
Got
the
it.
backside.
Alrighty, so a motion would be in order to move forward?
Clee would move to accept both chiefs' recommendations to place the millage ballot language, accept it, and put it on the next available ballot, which, correct me if I'm wrong, August? Okay.
Campbell will second it.
Thank you. Any questions? Any further discussion? All those in,
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
We need everybody behind this. I'm gonna just say it. We need everybody behind this. Every single one of us. And anybody that's got an open chair out there, please, grab a partner, grab a friend. Let's put up some signs and walk and talk, and we know what it's all about. All you have to do is come talk to any of these 3 gentlemen and all the rest that you see in the car and and the fire trucks, and they'll support you and tell you what it's all about. And there's a gentleman sitting out there, which I greatly appreciate his time the other day, and in the essence of the public service and public safety meeting that we were in, so, thank you, sir.
So we're not allowed to spend any of our tax dollars on promoting a millage, a ballot issue, either way. So I know that there was a committee formed, and if you want, Kevin, we can look at, and Brett, we can look at revisiting that committee. I'm gonna guess that Tom's gonna willingly volunteer for that.
I was on the other two.
In
so-
order to put up any signs, they gotta be paid for, and that's gotta be done by a committee that's not paid with tax dollars. So it's gotta be a private, separate committee. So if we wanna get that together, we can take a look at that if anyone's interested, okay? Alrighty, so we have a motion and a second on the floor, and I think discussion's over, yes? All those in favor of approving the motion to put the millage renewal on the ballot? The public safety millage in the 3.85 mils, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? So that was unanimous, thank you. We move on to action item B. Chief Salter, is anything you had to say?
No, I want to thank Ryan and Kirk for both coming here today to explain the GTAC camera system. Also, I want to make sure I publicly thank Lieutenant Baldwin and Sergeant Nemechek, who've worked on this for over a year, trying to find the right camera system for our township. I mean, they went to a lot of different places, a lot of different vendors they've seen, different police departments they went to, different demonstrations. There's a lot of legwork that they put into it. Police work's changed a lot in the last 3 years. It's changed a whole lot. But, I mean, from the day when I first started, Lieutenant Baldwin first started, you tell the guys, hey, we're gonna get body cameras. They would throw a fit about it. They wouldn't have wanted it. But nowadays, it seems like every officer I talk to wants these cameras. I mean, I wanna make sure we support our officers, support the township, support our community, support our residents. I think this would be one of the ways that helps that along in a big way. Again, we went through a lot of different cameras. We picked the GTAC camera system. We think this is gonna fit our township, our police department the best. So I'm asking the board to approve to spend the money to buy this system. The total cost is in your packet that I sent out, or the email I sent out to you guys. Counting the camera system, 38 body-worn cameras, the 20 in-car cameras, the accessories, the 5 years of cloud storage, the 5-year warranties, plus the $14,000 for installation of the in-car camera by Synergy Products. The total price is $328,727. So therefore, I'm asking the board to approve the purchase of the body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, and accessories from Midwest Public Safety, or GTAC, for a total of $314,677. In addition, I'm seeking approval for $14,050 for the in-car video swap from L3 to GTAC through Synergy Products.
Chief, did you want to mention where the funds would be coming from?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Lieutenant Baldwin applied for and received a grant through the DOJ, Department of Justice Small, Rural, and Tribal Body-Worn Camera Program Grant for $21,209.50. We have to match that with local funds. So I'm recommending taking $21,209.50 out of the Police Department General Fund, and the rest, which is $286,308 out of ARPA funds received by the Township of Flint.
Is that your motion, sir?
No, he can't
Oh,
motion.
I mean, is that your request?
Recommendation, yeah.
Recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Then Clea would recommend that we accept the recommendation of the chief and his supported personnel, as well as the two fine gentlemen here that brought it before us this afternoon, in the tune of $328,727 total. The funding coming out of the respected three different dollar representations, the DOJ, our general fund, and the ARPA dollars.
I just want to repeat the ARPA dollars, Tom. $286,308, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second? Support. Carol Pfaff-Dahl seconds that. Any further questions for Chief Salter or on the purchase or where the funding's coming from? So just to be clear for our residents, this is going to be mostly funded with grant dollars except $21,209.50 out of our general fund,
Yes, ma'am.
which is, that's a lot of grant dollars.
Yes.
Any discussion, any questions before we vote? It's kind of silent, nothing?
Thank goodness for ARPA.
Yeah, no doubt. Alrighty, if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to purchase the in-car camera system and body-worn cameras, following the recommendation from Chief Salter.
Okay. Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Queen?
Yes.
Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
And Trustee Burt?
Yes.
Trustee Fatto?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Very good.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we're skipping action item C, we go on to action item D. Do you want to present that, Madam Treasurer?
Yes. We announced that we had a retirement in the Treasurer's Department. So there's one individual that is working in the department at this time. We are looking at restructuring personnel, moving one individual from the Sewer and Water Department. There's 3 in Sewer and Water and now 1 in the Treasurer's Department. We want to move one from the Sewer and Water Department into the Treasurer's Department, and we would need to then reclassify the clerical individuals from level 2 to level 3, because we do not intend to fill the 3rd position that's in the Treasurer's Department at this time. So I'd like to make a motion to reclassify, to move one individual from the Sewer and Water Department to the Treasurer's Department, and to reclassify both individuals from a level 2 to a level 3.
We have a motion, is there a second to the motion?
I'll support it.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. So it's my understanding that, per the contract, that if they choose, after so many days, they can go back to their original, okay, right? What they had before their position. But also, if we don't feel they're doing the job, the board has a right to take them back to the original position.
Yep.
Okay.
I have one, if Ms. Bird is finished.
Yep.
Does that, so we're going to move, and kind of along the same direction, and I'm supportive of this 100%, move them to a level 3, but you said at this time to replace or fill this position. That doesn't mean that at any given time, we could find necessary need for another clerical individual. They would not come in as a 3, they would come in still as a level 1. Am I correct, or am I incorrect in that?
Incorrect in that, that we would determine the level based on the type of work that they would be doing.
Or what they would bring to us, if it's not somebody from our pool, but if we go outside the pool, does that still allow us, with their skill level, to either be to still be A1, or we decide A2, or then they could be moved to a 3? But a level 1 still exists in that area for replacement. As you said, we're not going to replace at this time. Am I correct?
They were level 2s.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 levels in that clerical unit,
Mhm.
1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
And it's basically determined by this board based on the skill set level of the work and the duties that are there.
Right.
So we
So we can
had,
hire- we can decide if we need a level 3 type work, 2, or 1.
Okay, so the level 1 and 2 still exist at
Yes.
the lower, okay, that's all I
we
wanted
had 3
clarification.
positions in there.
Yep.
2 of them were 2s and 1 of them was 3s.
Right.
And essentially, by doing this, we're taking that level 3 and giving those duties to the other 2 positions. It's essentially eliminating 1 position.
Right. But if necessary,
Positions.
2,
So it goes back to the feasibility study we did 20 years ago that we're finally implementing.
right.
Right, so, you're talking about sewer and water, right?
Yes.
The person, Ms. Parker, retired, and the person who's gonna take her place is coming out of sewer and water. So, this eliminates the 3rd person in the tax department. We are vacating that person in the sewer and water department, but we haven't voted to eliminate that position yet. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but we were gonna try and see how that works up front with 2 in each
2
department.
and 2. And if necessary, we can look at the lower level position as still existing, if we needed to hire a level 1 or a level 2, depending on the quality of the individual that would come from outside the facility.
Right, so, as Lisa's been in that position, she's implemented different things that have made the work more efficient and streamlined, such as a lockbox where when you mail in a payment into the tax department, it goes directly to Chase and they deposit it that day. So there's a lot of mail that comes in that we're not processing. We're still processing some mail, but not all of it. And that's been a very big help. We've updated our software. We use cash receipting. So some of the tools that Madam Treasurer has implemented has made it more efficient and easier to work in that department, where we're relying more on the software and less, we don't need as many bodies.
Bodies, right.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yep, thank you.
Any further questions? No? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the request to reclassify the 2 clerical positions in the Treasurer's Department, please.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Clee?
Yes.
Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Trustee Fabdal?
Yes.
And Treasurer Anderson?
Yes, thank you.
So we are at action item E. It's the first reading of the ordinance on disorderly conduct. Let me get to it. I'm lost. There it is. Alrighty, it's just amending our current ordinance, and this is just the first reading. Did you want to say something,
I can
Chief Salter?
real quick. Yeah, I worked with our township attorney, Peter Goodstein, about it. Just try to make sure we update our disorderly ordinance and make sure it's with our applicable laws, or all the current case law that's out there. That'll make sure it's been like 13, 14, 15 years since we updated it, so it's time for it. This is just one of the very first ones. We'll probably start bringing more and more as we go through it.
Great.
But I figured this is the most important one to update, though.
Okay. So we don't have any action to take here. It's just the first reading, and it'll come back at the next meeting on May 16th. Alrighty, so we go to action item F. It's to request to hire part-time code enforcement officer. You have the request from the building official, Stuart Worthing, to hire John Seibel, who is a retired police officer and knows his township well. He worked for us for 25 years and has been retired for 10 or 11 years. And he's willing to come back and do some part-time code enforcement work. So the request is before you to do that.
We would support the action requested by our Economic Enhancement Director to fill the part-time code enforcement officer with the individual of John Seibel, former Flint Township officer, and to begin working for and under the direction of Stuart Worthing.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
I have a question. I know we didn't get into any salary or anything. That would be the same rate
Same
that
as
we
what
pay
they
the
were
other
paying, yeah.
code enforcers.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Putting
Madam
that
Clerk,
in.
roll call, please, on the motion to hire part-time code enforcer John Seibel, please.
Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
Trustee Clee?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Supervisor Anderson, Miller?
Yes?
Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Fabdal?
Yes.
And Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. So our last item is appointments, and you can see the paperwork. We have a vacancy on the Road Advisory Committee, and Bud Newsom was willing to volunteer to help us. And so I'm putting forth that name, and a motion would be in order to appoint him to the Road Advisory Committee.
Clee would so move to accept your recommendation of Mr. Bud Newsom. He is in attendance in the audience this evening, to be appointed to the Road Advisory Committee.
Anderson supports.
Any questions? Everybody knows Bud, right?
Great
He's sitting
guy.
over there with the beard. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the appointment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, thank you very much. Thank you, Bud. And then the next appointment is to the Planning Commission. Harry Blecker has served on our Planning Commission in the past. Warren has served graciously for, how many years, Warren?
Over 9.
Already? Oh my gosh. And so you're doing something different and the position's vacated, and so I'm asking this board to appoint, and Harry's willing to do it too, Harry Blecker to fill the remainder of Commissioner Warren Mark's term on the Planning Commission.
Clee would move to accept the recommendation to the Planning Commission of Mr. Harry Blecker to fill out Mr. Mark's term for the balance of his seat.
Is there a second to the motion?
Campbell, second.
Thank you. Does everyone know Harry? He's sitting in the audience here.
He's
with this-
sitting right there. He slipped in very quietly. I didn't want to acknowledge until he looked up, but
Alrighty,
yes.
any questions or discussion? No? All those in favor of the appointment of Harry Blecker to the Planning Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That stands approved. So before we leave, I just wanted to ask, Trustee Campbell and I had a quick conversation in the hallway about health insurance. And we are not quite in the middle of this year, but next year we'll be here soon. And I know that we have been looking to meet the obligations that are in our contracts with the unions, but also to decrease our costs for healthcare or anything about it. So I know that each union has a healthcare committee representative. I'm asking that you guys, the trustees, consider volunteering to serve on that committee too. I'd like 2 or 3 of the trustees to serve to see, I mean, I don't think they'll meet all the time with that committee, but when they meet and they review what we have and who we're working with, they can report to this board. They can also make bring that information to the committee. So maybe at our next meeting, it gives you several weeks to think about it so that by May 16th, we have at least 2 people who would step, we can't have more than 3. So think about that, and if you want to serve on that committee.
To follow up on that, I received a phone call the end of last week, and want from the individuals that I was talking with for you and I, and they're ready to come and sit down with us as well.
And Lisa
As well.
has gotten information, and I'm not sure, did you too, Deb? So we have all this information, and we need to put it together and present it to the board to move forward. So if anyone wants to serve on that committee, let me know. I'll take your name next meeting, if that sounds good. Alrighty, announcements. Our next meeting, Madam Clerk, we don't have a meeting the first Monday in May because there's election the next day, correct?
Exactly. Yep.
So our next meeting is going to be May 16th. It's the 3rd Monday in May, I do believe, right?
Just one meeting in May?
Yes.
One meeting in May. And I looked, I think we only have one meeting in August, is that right?
Because of the election.
And I think only one meeting in November, because the gubernatorial primary is August and the general election is in November, right?
Yes.
Alrighty, so if there's no further business, and without objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adjourned is 7 PM exactly.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.